So there's a lot of drama happening with Ghosts of Yotei. And Ghosts of Yotei is another game that people are leaving comments on my videos and they don't watch the video. That's the most amazing thing. They don't watch the video. They say, oh, Ghosts of Yotei is not woke. I never said it was. Never said it in my videos. But they'll comment on my videos. They're like, oh, I've seen 100 of these videos. I know what it's talking about. No, you don't. No, you don't, you dumb motherfucker. But I mean, that's okay. So here's a rumor. And again, the rumors are going wild right now. The gaming rumors are going wild, guys. We have to fucking approach them like landmines because they're exploding everywhere. Okay. But a rumor says Sony executives are not happy with the initial Ghosts of Yotei response. That part I believe. But then the second part is developers were blindsided with the new female character. That part I don't believe. So let's get into the whole debacle. So again, Endymion seems to be the source for all of these rumors lately. He must have had like some insider fucking vomit up information to him. But I guess we'll see. He said the following. Apparently, Ghosts of Yotei blindsided many people that were working at Sony who were not made aware of what Sucker Punch was making. Oh, okay. Okay, so I can believe that. I thought he was saying that Sucker Punch was blindsided by a female protagonist. That's why I was like, that didn't make any sense. He added, and the people in the mid-levels at Sony were actually confused when Yotei was announced because they were under the impression that Jin Sakai would be getting a sequel. I think that everybody was under that impression. I think it's honestly fair to say that maybe not just people at Sony, but everybody was under the impression that when we were getting a Ghost of Tsushima sequel, that we were going to be getting a continuation of Jin Sakai's story. I don't think anybody thought it was going to be an anthology. But you know why they made it an anthology? They made it that way so that they can do whatever they want with sequels and nobody will give them or be able to give them shit as to what came before. So it's kind of the reason. It's no different than Assassin's Creed, right? Assassin's Creed is a continuing, series, but it's an anthology. You got multiple different Assassin's Creed with different main characters, different stories, different everything. But it looks like they're going the same route with this game, or I should say with this series. So when they came out with Atsu, they can say, well, what does it matter? Jin Sakai is fucking dead. Right? Jin Sakai is dead. It's 300 years in the future. Why would you think Jin Sakai was going to be around? It's their way of getting out. It's a get out of jail free card, basically, in my opinion. And it also kind of wipes the slate clean a little bit. So I don't know if I necessarily believe all of this, because I feel like Sony would know, right? Like Sucker Punch, a developer that made one of their biggest games on their platform, Ghost of Tsushima. I feel like people at Sony would know what was happening with the sequel. I don't know. Maybe some of the lower level employees were confused, right? Maybe some of, I don't know, the interns. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but I do believe this part right here. And they're not happy at all when it comes to the response of that game either internally at Sony right now. So the response for this game, needless to say, has been divisive. I think it's pretty safe to call it divisive at this point. There are people, rightfully so, and I want to preface this. Not that it matters, because people are gonna make up their own fucking assumptions and comment on this live stream later down the line anyway, and be like, Hypnotic called it woke. It's like, okay, whatever. I think it's pretty safe to say the game's divisive, and I think it's also safe to say that people are more so disappointed than they are angry that the game may potentially be woke or whatever, right? Because people people are disappointed because they really, like I said earlier, everybody was under the assumption we were going to get a part 2 and we were going to see Jin Sakai's continued story. We didn't get that. So with that disappointment right off the bat, people are immediately going to be upset about that. And then when you throw in a female into the mix, which is another thing nobody saw coming, now you got two things that people feel blindsided on, and it's going to create this feeling of resentment. I feel like that's probably the easiest way to explain what's happening right now. Then you couple it with the fact that patterns exist, and this is what I keep telling people all the time. There was a lot of content creators out there on YouTube, on Twitter, that were trying to take the high road, and I totally get it. They were trying to take the high road, and they were trying to say, I don't understand why people are calling Ghosts of Yotei woke. I don't understand. I don't get what's happening. It seems like it's just boys that are mad, which, again, I don't know why people would say that. The same people who claim to fight against wokeness are the ones who speaking like leftists by calling anybody who was angry at Yotei a boy and not a man. I think that's a little bit odd, but again, that's decisions that people decide to make, right? So let's make it very clear. People are angry because they've been blindsided twice. And not only that, patterns are a thing. Patterns exist, right? So modern day patterns have shown us that when a female is at the forefront of a story that used to be male dominated, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't end well. And then most of the time, what they'll end up doing, people like that will end up bringing up characters from the past that were made in a totally different time. They'll be like, well, what about Sarah Connor? What about Sarah Connor? The bitch wasn't made at a time where people had blue hair and fucking pronouns as titles. What are you talking about? Why are you bringing up people that were made at a time where there was a lot more normal people in entertainment? What about Samus? What about Samus? It doesn't matter. For the last few years, patterns have showed us that when a female takes over for a male-dominated franchise, it usually doesn't end well. So with that information at hand, you cannot blame people for having an eyebrow raised. I myself have an eyebrow raised. It doesn't mean I think the game is woke, but what I'm doing now is looking at this game with a fine-tooth comb to ensure that Sucker Punch hasn't been compromised. The problem, though, is if you look at the people who are now at Sucker Punch, who have been hired over the last couple of years, it starts to look a little bit sus, you know? It starts to look a little bit sussy-wussy. So, again, guys, the trailer looked good. I thought the trailer looked awesome. Graphics obviously look incredible. They showed no gameplay, really, so can't make a decision based off that. If they sell us a story that makes sense, I'm with it, right? I'm with it. But if they sell us something where you got this 100-pound female samurai bodying somebody like Khan, a motherfucker who's 300-plus pounds in full-on armor with a mace, and she don't have, like, I don't know, fucking Super Saiyan powers, it's just going to be a little bit difficult. I already barely believe Jin Sakai beating Khan based off the size difference. But that's neither here nor there. She's no Eve, exactly. Eve's a fucking robot. Anyway, she's already dual wielding like a boss. Yeah. It's no Wukong. Well, yeah. Monkeys are strong, right? You can believe half the shit that's happening, no matter how crazy it is. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's very disingenuous when people try to immediately dismiss the upset feelings that people were having. And I think everybody had a right to be upset at Ghosts of Yotei. Not only that, let's be fucking real, man. The way they presented Atsu was a bit mid. All right. Even Cult Classic Cage said the same exact thing. And she's about as fair as anybody can get, to be honest with you.